Let's get spooky. This is our Station Boo, where we explore the dark and mysterious corners of the world of horror, and we know that you are dying to listen. And welcome to the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. And this is our 2024 wrap-up. And so we have our amazing haunted hosts that we couldn't do this past year without, I should say. We have Lysa.
Hi, Groovy Ghoulies.
We have Karen.
What's up, my horrorholics?
And I am Shannon. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and dive in and let's get spooky.
Hey horrorholics, it's Shannon. Earth Station Boo has just launched its brand new merch store. It's time to get your hands on some killer gear. From our fun logo shirts, cozy hoodies, Let's Get Spooky stickers, and Horrorholics Anonymous totes, there's something for every one of our lovely little ghouls. We offer our spooky designs on many different types of products to fit your desires. But if you happen to see a missed opportunity, just let us know. And unlike most of Stephen King's adaptations, you know what I'm talking about, you won't be disappointed with the quality of the products. Head over to our link tree in our bio, grab your merch, show off your favorite horror podcast, and most of all, let's get spooky.
"2024 has finally come to an end, but this was our first year of doing the podcast, which is absolutely amazing.
It is.
For those who don't know the history, I know we kind of talked about it in our first episode, but in case you never got to that episode or not, Earth Station Boo started from being a segment during Earth Station 1. They would have 4 episodes and they called it Earth Station Boo, just for kicks. And we decided, nah, we need to have like an actual horror podcast. And over many Zoom calls and switching and swapping of people and a number of other fun shenanigans and things like that, May 31st, 2024, we launched and we recorded and published 35 episodes. And first of all, I couldn't be more proud of these 2 ladies who've come and worked on this podcast with me. But it has been a blasty blast. But it's been a year. So ladies, tell me how it's been for y'all. Lysa, you get to start.
Oh, well, I was excited when I got to be on this. So it's definitely been a year. Wow. It's just like, I just dived into it and we've had some ghost noises and technical issues on my side. And it's just been really fun. I really have enjoyed being on here. And I really, I've learned some stuff that I didn't even know. And it's just been really great. And I've gotten a lot better at talking because I'm pretty much a shy person. And if you actually meet me in person, it takes a minute before I start talking. So yeah, this is really fun. I've really enjoyed getting to know you guys and working with you too.
I can say the same. Karen, how about you?
A year of ups and downs, roller coaster ride, technical difficulties, a lot of technical difficulties, really. Haunted sounds that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A lot of animal hugging during break time. And I love these ladies. Like when somebody when Shannon asked who would love to do a horror podcast, one of my friends like Karen will do it. And so I was like, yeah, horror, love it. And I learned a lot of interesting things about different topics of horror, and I learned what was my favorite, what was not my favorite. I'll be glad to do next year. So yes.
Yeah. No, honestly, like when I first saw we're thinking about having a horror podcast. Who wants to be a part of it? I was like, me. Like my hand immediately shot up, kind of deal. You know, I think us coming together to create this podcast was fate, like honestly, because there were people who have actually been guests on the show who originally were supposed to be hosts. And because their schedules were convoluted at the time, they weren't able to have the availability for it. And so it was kind of, I feel like almost kismet that I was able to get these two amazing ladies to join us. And we had a Zoom call, and basically it was like, hey, here's the deal. Here's what we're wanting to do. This is the idea. Do you guys think you could do this? Do you think you want to be part of this? And it was automatically a yes. And after having a talk with Mike Faber, who is technically our executive producer, he was like, I think you guys are going to be a great trio. Like you guys seem to like really have meshed already and like really like seem to vibe off each other. And so that's what we've done this year. And this year for like the podcast, like as like a goal for us, it was really just to find our groove. We didn't have like, oh, let's get these numbers and let's get like this done and like let's, you know, be the top whatever. No, it's just been let's find our groove. Let's find how we work together and like get it synchronized so it's perfect. And I think we've done that. And it's been so much fun. Yes, plenty of technical difficulties. Oh, plenty of technical difficulties. And personally, I'm not like the most tech savvy. So I always feel like I'm like, I don't know how to fix it, but I'm going to try. um, but we've had a blast. And I think that's the biggest and best thing about 2024 is I've gotten to spend most Wednesday nights with these two ladies, and it's just been so much fun chit-chatting.
And having animals pop up every once in a while.
Yeah,
Oh,
having
yeah.
animals, but I mean, that's not nice to call Mike an animal. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, we've also had some really fun guests. Like
Oh, yeah.
I can't express my gratitude for anybody who's said yes to being a guest on this show. Like it means so much to me. And we've had some amazing guests. And like I truly like love a lot of the people that we've had on here. But let's kind of get into some of our favorites things of this past year. Let's start off with some books that we've read. I know Karen is a bibliophile and loves reading and writing. So we'll start with you, Karen. What is a book or books that you really enjoyed this year?
I would have to say that my favorite book was Horror Store by Grady.
Mm-hmm.
And I read Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. It's a slow burn, but I enjoyed it because of the fact that you get a little bit of, I would say, history and mythology of Russia almost. And that was pretty intense for me because like I said, it's a slow burn. And then but when you start reading it, you start feeling, the chills because it takes place in like a part of Russia where it's like below 50, below 60, like in the negatives, right? And I'm like, oh, and you start getting that chill that creeps up on you and you're like, oh, let me get a blanket. It's so cold. And that's what I loved about it. It immersed me into the story. I've read a lot of reviews. People didn't much care for it, but I loved it. I enjoyed it. So Road of Bones, Road of Bones.
Road of Bones. We'll
Hmm.
add it to the list.
And I have to say, I enjoyed reading a lot of Junji Ito's books because,
Mm-hmm.
that's my man. That's my man.
There you go. There you go. Lisa, how about you? What did you
Well,
enjoy reading this year?
well, I did like Horror Store. It was actually, I actually listened to it, and it was, I actually really like that book a lot. I don't read a lot. I'm more of a cinephile. I like to read, and I have to I'm still in the process of reading The House of Leaves, which is really kind of creepy. And I would definitely say Horror Store was probably my favorite one. So out of all the books we've had to read, it was nice, fast paced, so it was easier to read. I have
Mhm.
dyslexia, so I usually
Yeah.
listen to all my books.
I think listening to a book is just the same as actually reading it. I don't take that, oh, if you don't actually read it, it's not real reading. No. You know, people with dyslexia, for example, it's easier and more enjoyable to listen to it. You're still consuming the written word. It's just somebody's reading it to you.
And I also agree with Karen. I love June Dewey too. So I've read all most of his manga.
I've read a lot of stuff that I've read before this year. I was kind of in a comfy consumer kind of vibe this year. So, I reread half of Dracula before I got distracted by something else. And I, reread a bunch of Poe's stuff, and all of which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, wonderful stuff. I absolutely love it. But I didn't really consume a whole lot of new stuff except for the two books that we reviewed. One being um, The Only Good Indians, and then the other being Horror Store. And Horror Store was my favorite out of those two. Um, really enjoyable. Like, it's a book that, I would definitely read again. And it's a book that I actually love to see, done up in as a movie or a mini series. It does have me intrigued to read his new book that is coming out. Was it the 14th of January? So in the future. And we actually are releasing our horror store episode on the 10th. So right before the release. So it'll be fun. So stay tuned. Please listen. Tell us what you guys think about the book. TV shows or streaming shows, miniseries, things like that. What was y'all's favorites there? Lisa?
Okay. I love Midnight Mass,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Flanagan film, and we all know how we feel about Mr. Flanagan here.
Yep.
um, I've been getting into this other show called Evil, which is actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
is a
like
good one.
that. So those are the two miniseries that I've been kind of watching. Um, as far as TV shows or whatever, those are the two that I've really have got me sucked into. So those pretty much what I've been concentrating on. Tried to watch The Strain again, I just couldn't get into it for some reason.
That's fair. Karen, how about you?
The Last of Us, based off of a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic series. I don't care what anybody says. It's fantastic. I don't know, the thought of these spores, fungus taking hold of humanity, turning them into something, and then this.
This is why you don't eat mushrooms.
I love mushrooms. I just don't want the zombie eating, controlling mushroom or fungus to take over me. But our bodies is too hot for it. So, eh, if it does happen, maybe after I die. Okay, just because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be the next Joel here.
That's fair.
And Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass, The House of Haunting Hill, um, Haunting Hill. Where did that come from? My brain just short circuited. All of Mike Flanagan's series. Okay, how about that? All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, Evil is really good. Like, I was sad that they ended it. Even Stephen King was sad that they ended that series. He's like, bring
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah. No, he was. And for him to like something that's an adaptation of his stuff is rare. So, like I said, I haven't really been watching anything new um, per se, but I did rewatch The Haunting of Hill House. I've been watching, or I watched the Blind Manor one. I watched Follow the House of Usher, and I just really enjoyed rewatching those. I rewatched Wednesday because that's a comfort show for me. I'm waiting to watch Last of Us because it's a series and it's not like just like a one like season type series. And so I'm it means that there's going to be more and it's going to be like I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like The Walking Dead and I'm going to be upset if I like start watching it and like have to wait for like the new season. So I'm just going to wait till the series is done and then I'm just going to binge this series. I've been burned too many times with having to wait for them to finish things. So,
Rewatch of Supernatural too. Well, I've been doing it on and off. My sister-in-law is bound and determined to finish all like 15, 20
15 seasons.
seasons.
15 seasons.
She's on season 6 now, and I'm like, you still going? You okay? You
I
need some
do want to
water?
do I do want to do a full rewatch. It's actually been a really long time since I've watched the whole thing in one sitting. A lot of times I just kind of like catch up a couple of seasons before whatever the new one was, just so I'm kind of like up to date on it. But I do need to do like a full rewatch. Just gotta find the time for it.
Time is a four-letter word, people.
This is true. This is true. All right, let's hop into movies because there's been a lot of cool stuff movie wise that's happened in 2024. So, Karen, what was your favorite movie or so, or two, or three?
I watched Abigail, Vampirism.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Long Legs was surprisingly really good. I mean, I went in there with low expectations, and I came out happy.
Yeah.
And I did some
Yeah,
rewatches as well. Shaun of the Dead, man. It's a comfort movie. Shaun of the Dead.
Yes, it is.
And they just released 28 Days Later on streaming. Unfortunately, you have to buy it.
That's a good one. And 28 years later is coming up this coming year?
June 20th.
Yeah, June 20th.
June 20th.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Looks good.
me too. So, Nita, what was some of your favorite movies?
Well, let's see. Megan is always going to be one of my favorites. I was really surprised with Longlegs. Let's see what else. I saw the one Sting, which was on Shutter or it's on Hulu. One of those. It's about a giant spider. It never came to theaters, but it's streaming now. It's really good. And if you got, well, if you're afraid of spiders, don't watch it. uh, there are a lot that I saw, and then I did some rehashes of some old movies. Like I watched what is it? I watched The Beyond, which is an Italian giallo film. I've been watching Scream with my roommate because she loves it, and I figured I might as well rehash the whole thing. We're on the third one now, so so just pretty much
Yeah.
I'm watching at least one horror movie a night. So
Mhm.
that's a lot.
Movie wise, I think for like new films that I've seen, I want to say Longlegs was my favorite. I know I saw other like new films in theaters and or just in general, but that's the one that like kind of stood out to me. I think mostly for the cinematography of it. It was just really beautiful to watch. Like visually very entertaining. Um, but I mean, we've covered quite a few movies, some great classics, some not so great classics, and so there's There's been quite a bit that we've watched that I'm like, oh man, this was kind of cool. I'm glad that like we watched this because I haven't seen it before. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh my God, why did we watch this? Oh man. I.e. the creeping terror. Uh but let's do our favorite episodes of Earth Station Boo. There's 35 to choose from. What are they? What's everybody's favorites? Who wants to go first?
Evolution of zombies. I mean, I love zombies, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just me. I would have to also say the Sweeney Todd episode that we did because I got to sing. I got to sing a little bit. Uh, let's
A
see
little
what
bit.
else. I also enjoyed doing the fantasy and horror Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting because even though we could define each of them, they're still going to be like married cousins.
Yeah, that those blurred lines are really blurred.
And I'm not sure. Did you release this yet already about the Shaun of the Dead?
No,
But that was my favorite episode to do.
that was your favorite episode to do.
Yes.
Shaun of the Dead was a really great, fun episode. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Lisa, how about you? What were some of your favorites?
Okay. I love our guest, Rebecca Perry, so much. And it's Women Who Love Horror. That was a great episode.
That
I
was a
had
very good
fun with
episode.
that. My favoriteest has to be that Carrie White. She sure is cute because I don't know what it is about Carrie, and it's just I loved how we were just talking about how the different variances of all the characters from the different versions. It was really kind of cool. I like the fantasy and horror, the Twin Cities, because there's going to be a lot of that coming up next year
Yeah.
in the film industry. So it's going to blur the lines even more, which is going to make it even better.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. Oh, I did like the evolution of zombies because it was kind of fun to hear Karen's take on it,
Oh
what
yeah.
he do and wouldn't do. And the many faces of Count Dracula, because I love Mark Maddox. And when he said date night Dracula, I just about spit my Dr. Pepper out because it was so funny. Yeah, those were my favorites out of all of them. There's another one, but you haven't launched it yet. So
Which one?
the werewolves,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that's that is one of my absolutely favorites because I love werewolves.
yeah. And Kelsey was a fun guest too.
Oh, she was a great guest.
For me, every episode is my favorite episode. Now, truly though, my favorite episodes are the episodes I don't have to do a whole lot of editing on. As the editor of the group. The episodes I don't have to do a lot of editing on are great. But no, jokes aside, urban fantasy versus horror, the fantasy and horror Twin Cities deal. That one was a fantastic episode. We had Carol and Derek on, who are both amazing individuals, and we've had them on other episodes, and they've been amazing on those episodes as well. But I loved how we could kind of get into a little bit of that nuance of how blurred are these lines? What is the connection? Like where does it all lie? And then I loved when we talked about what is horror. I loved that episode. And that's one of like our first episodes. I think it was second episode where we talked about what do we as a podcast view horror as. And I think that's one of my favorites because we really kind of got into really what horror means to each one of us individually and then what we hope horror means to other people. And I thought that was a really fun one. The women in horror episode, I can't wait to do part 2 because honestly, women in horror, they go hand in hand. Bela Lugosi said it best. I loved our Jaws episode with Mike. That was such a fun episode to do, especially when he got to do his electric chair. And then I don't know, there's so many really good ones.
It was hard to choose.
Yeah.
It really was
Yeah.
hard to choose.
I
It's
was like,
really hard to choose.
oh,
Because there's just so many good ones. There's some good ones, like the Shaun of the Dead episode, I think was a great episode, and it's not getting released until, a couple weeks from now. So, it's just so many really, really good ones.
There's a girl outside in the garden. There's a girl outside in the garden.
You get red on you.
You got red on you.
We're coming for you, Barbara.
I know,
Such a great
right?
movie. Such a great movie.
Yes, da-da-da-da-da.
Stop the queen. Oh, yes. Such a good film. I think I might
Yes.
rewatch that tonight. But what are some things that you love about Earth Station Boo this year? Like what we've done, anything's game. It just has to be Earth Station Boo related.
Just be able to come on Wednesday nights to talk with you ladies about horror and all things related to horror, because it takes me out of my real life,
Yeah.
and it helps me to stress and just have fun,
Right? Same.
Same. 100%.
Lisa, what about you?
Yeah, I enjoy having my Wednesdays where I'm talking to you guys and meeting new people, like some of our guests that I didn't know, and just like sharing our knowledge in horror as we're in so three different dynamics of like, Karen's the writer and the reader, and you do your thing, and I do my special effects. So it's all kind of like we're a nice trio
Mm-hmm.
of everything, and it's fun to share it, and it's fun to share it. I mean, I love talking about this stuff. This is the first time that I've actually gotten to really talk about it since like a long time ago. So, yeah, I enjoy sharing my knowledge and having your guys as being a host with you guys because it's fun.
Yeah. It is. It's a lot of fun. We get different perspectives and we just have a lot of fun chit-chatting, and it's interesting even to like listen to how sometimes we even change our minds and our thoughts on something just because we have a conversation. We each bring up something that the other saw or didn't see, or and vice versa. And it's interesting, and it's just the conversations alone are just a blasty blast.
Cannibalism.
Yeah, cannibalism
Cannibalism.
constantly comes up. Oh, yeah, like how that constantly comes up. I don't want to single out any of our guests as like being a not favorite, but I know you said that Rebecca was one of your favorites. Karen, which one's one of your favorites?
Oh man, Mike Faber, like he's such a chill dude. Love
So
him.
chill.
So chill.
We love Mike here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like I could talk to him for hours, man. That's how chill he is.
Same.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally how I met him. Was just sitting and chit-chatting with him because he's just a dude you can sit and chit-chat with.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm actually gonna say Beth. Beth is one of my faves. I think she was so much fun on the Tim Burton episode. She was a lot of fun on. She was on Shaun of the Dead, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Beth, she was just so much fun to chit chat with. And even though she's not like a gory horror fan, she's still like some of the spooky kooky stuff. And I thought she was a lot of fun to have on the episode. What else did you guys like that either we did as a podcast or
I mean, I would say meeting all the amazing guests that you wouldn't normally meet.
Mhm.
Like Sam Curtin, Thomas,
Dominic.
Dominic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of long lists that I would probably never met if it wasn't for Earth Station Boo.
Right.
Well, Derek I've known for a long time, so I just love
Yeah.
talking like shop with him. I was just happy that he was able to do the Jinji Ito panel,
Oh yeah.
and I had so much fun on that. I don't like Tonomi. I don't care. That's my least favorite story. If I see her in real life, it's gonna be all hands on deck. Like, why you need the love and approval of everybody else? Love yourself. Love thyself first. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Lisa, how about you?
Oh, I definitely like when we get the guests in the electric chair. That's always fun. I like to hear
The
the reactions and their answers, and it's kind of cool.
I love the answers to the questions because a
Hmm.
lot of times it's not answers that I was expecting. It's like,
Exactly. And you
oh,
get to know
that
something
was a
about
cool
them.
answer. Which in the future there will be a hey, this is what people said in the electric chair, and it'll be a little compilation episode for y'all.
Cool.
Which that will be fun putting it together.
I bet.
The amount of audio I have saved on my computer, ooh,
Oh
I
my
need to get it
God.
all put onto my drive. Yeah, no, the electric chair was a lot of fun. Honestly, I will say this also. Dragon Con was fun this year as being a podcast host and being able to be up on panels as like an official representation of the podcast. I was like, this is so cool. And then also passing out all the little things to people, like our little swag bags that had, our stickers and the little let's get spooky badge ribbons for everybody. That was a lot of fun, and I loved seeing people's faces light up when they got one and they're like, oh man, this is so cool, or oh, I love this. And it was just, I don't know, it was a lot of fun to interact with people in that kind of like frame, if that makes sense.
yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I ordered spiders, like itty bitty spiders, for the swag bags this year.
Oh, yay. I still have a bunch of the little skulls. So,
Yay,
yay.
the little
I
spiders
got
in
some
there.
witch, I got some witch fingers.
Ooh, there we go. I will say one other thing that I'm really cool, like excited about is the fact that we got our merch store up and going, because that was not on the to get done list until like suddenly I was like, no, I want it. I want to wear something that has our name on it. I'm making this store. And so we got like all sorts of cool stuff on there. And I actually can't wait to order some more stuff, like a hoodie, because
Yeah,
it's getting cold.
Oh, it's like 17 degrees here. I need a hoodie.
it's 37 here.
Well, that's not bad. That's
Yeah,
warm.
It is currently 55.
Oh, that's really warm.
yeah, that's really warm. Yeah,
No,
You're giving us
no, it is
this look.
not.
It is.
it is
Last
warm.
week at this time, it was in the 90s. That's a 40-degree difference. I'm not happy.
I can't blame
For
you.
everybody here, I am a true Southern Florida gal. I do not do the cold.
Well,
When I
we're
say
supposed to get a blizzard this weekend.
no, give me a hurricane. I take a hurricane over a blizzard
Make
any
sure you
day.
got some bottled water, Lisa.
Oh, I do, and I have my yak track so I can tromp in the snow.
Anything else that we loved about this year with Earth Station Boo?
I just love the different topics that we discuss.
Same.
Because it's a varied topic. We go from the history of this, the evolution of that, to movies, to books, and it's just doing research. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It definitely itches the neurospicy brain. So you don't get like burnt out on anything, like any one specific thing.
No, you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that honestly, that's one of the reasons why I like the way we even do our planning for the show of like, okay, well, what do we want to talk about? What currently has like an interest? Here's a list of things that we've already like thrown up of, hey, we want to talk about this, or hey, we want to do this. So like, how do we feel about it? Where do we want to, start? And it's fun, especially since we're constantly coming up with new things that we want to talk about. Like we probably could plan out our entire 2025 calendar if we wanted to, and still have extra ideas for the next year.
Yep.
And that's not even counting anything that is getting newly released. It's not counting anything that just hasn't come out yet that we don't know about. Like, I think that's I think that's something that's kind of cool, is that we're all so like eager to learn more that we're willing to talk about whatever. And
Yeah.
again, it's the nuance portion of it as well. It's not just, you listen to a lot of horror podcasts and they just review movie after movie after movie. They may throw a show in, they may throw a book in just because it's like, Stephen King wrote another book, or, something like that. But then they don't like talk about the nuances of stuff. They don't talk about the history of like how we even got to the point where we could have a movie like this. And I feel like they miss so much because there's so much to talk about. There's so much to dive into. I know we even talked about like, we'll go more in depth on the ages and eras of cinema when it comes to horror. And we haven't even touched that yet, because we have so much other things that we're talking about. So it's kind of cool. I love how diverse we can be.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead, wrap this up a little bit, and let's kind of talk about our hopes for the future for this podcast, for Earth Station Boo, which is now officially an ESO Network show. I signed the contract before the end of the year, so yay. But yeah, let's have our final thoughts on Earth Station Boo and what we hope for 2025. Lisa?
Yep, I definitely hope that I can get some of my celebrity friends on here. I've been poking at a couple of them. One I'd really like to get is Barbara Crampton, because it is the 40th anniversary of Reanimator.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for a while, so I've been kind of poking her a little bit. But I'd like to get I'd like to get a few more celebrities that I worked with and I know on here, just because it'd be great and fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would definitely like to talk about more like body horror things, and some Italian and some more Asian horror, and just
oh yeah.
I and definitely talk about more special effects stuff, because that's just kind of my jam anyway. But I just like all the realms of horror, no matter what it is. There's very few things about it that I don't like. And I just want to keep on helping and educating people about that there's more than just jump scare. There's more than just, I just love it. So I'm really looking forward to the future of our episodes, and get more people on, and, just talk about more stuff. And
yeah, same.
I mean, I could go on, but I'm not.
Karen, how about you? What are your hopes and dreams for the podcast?
I hope that we get more guests for the show. I hope that we get to talk about more non-traditional horror, like a little bit more folk horror. I want to see some Asian horror, because I love me some Asian horror. Like,
Yeah.
that's what my mom likes to talk about. Ghost and Speedy. And I would like to see, like, I just want to see us continuing on for like the next few years, because women in horror, man, women in horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything you ladies have said, I agree 100%. I would love to get some cool celebrity guests on here. I would love us to get more fun individuals. I would love for us to get more into even some of the fun niched aspects of horror that we haven't explored yet. And um, when I wrote out the description for what our podcast is, where I say like we dive into the depths, I want us to do that. I really want us to like have episodes where people are like, I didn't even think of that. Like, what? Whoa, that's like, that is not a topic you normally hear on a horror podcast, but that's cool. Like, I would love for that. Obviously, I have my numbers and things like that that I would love for us to boost as well, but I have so much fun doing this podcast. I couldn't even really care about the numbers at the same time. It's one of those like we're having fun, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love for us to be able to go to a con together and represent the podcast because I think that would be fun. But yeah, I would love for us to be on a panel together talking about horror. I would love for us just to be able to do more. And I'm very much of I'm not going to force it. If it's going to happen, it will happen naturally. But I definitely just want to see things just get bigger and get better. And I think we're well on our way to doing that because 2024 has been amazing when it comes to the podcast,
Oh yeah.
even with its hurdles and bumps. So I can only imagine what 2025 is going to hold for us. So yeah, I'm really proud of you ladies. And I'm very thankful to have you guys on here with me.
I'm just thankful that you put out an all call.
Yeah, me too. As soon as I
Right?
saw it, I'm like, yes, that's me.
I'm so glad that you guys were able to be part of this. But listeners, our lovely little ghouls, if you are a true horrorholic and you possibly would like to, be a guest on the show, there is a form on our website. You'll see it. It will say guest form. Fill that out. It does not mean you will, automatically get to be a guest. But if we like your form and we have a good Zoomie, then you might get to be on the podcast with us. You never know. But please come tell us what is your favorite episodes. What do you think about Earth Station Boo in 2024? We'd love to talk to you guys about it. You can hit us up on our social media. We are on all the things. We've got Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, Blue Sky. We also have our amazing Facebook group. So please come join that because that's a lot of fun. We also have a YouTube, so you can leave some fun comments there as well as sharing it on all the different social media sites from there. But you can also like and subscribe us wherever you listen to podcasts like Apple, Google, and Spotify, and Amazon. We are on Amazon as well. So, ladies, where can they find you? Lisa?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. And I've got a blog that I'll put in my contacts here pretty soon. You can pretty much find me. Those are the places I actually can respond the fastest. But I do like to talk about horrors.
Karen, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm trying to quit that so bad, but I've had it since the inception of Twitter. TikTok and Reddit, and I'm starting a Twitch channel, so be prepared for that.
Rock
Where I get
on.
to play video games and some horror games.
And you can find me, Shannon, on all the things at Spilled Tea Wine Media Mind. But before we finish our 2024 wrap up, we want to thank you, the listener, so licking much because literally we can't do this without you guys. And we love your support. It truly does mean the world to us. So thank you for listening for the past 35 episodes.
Yes,
The
thank you for your
past
support.
Thank you, 100%.
6-ish months.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something. Yeah. Thanks for supporting us since May 31st when we dropped everything. But yeah, it truly it it means so much. We really do appreciate it. So stay spooky, our lovely little ghouls.
And this has been the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo.